Today we're going to be talking about solving rational equations. And there's 4 steps. You multiply each term on both sides of the equation by the least common denominator. That's why we focus so much on least common denominators of all the terms. Then you simplify each one of the sides, solve for x. A lot of times they're going to be quadratics that hopefully we're going to be able to factor. And then make sure you check your answer. So solve the equation, check your answer. So the only thing that I see in the denominator is an x. So if I multiply both sides by x, what I do to one side I have to do to the other. So make sure the x gets distributed to both terms. Distributing it to the first, you get x squared. Distributing it to the second, you get rid of that denominator, so you just get 18 equals 3x. Subtract 3x from both sides. Now try and factor. Always try and factor first. Two things that multiply to be negative 18, we're going to add to be negative 3. Minus 6 plus 3. So therefore you get x to be 6 and x to be negative 3. There's also another method you could use that you might be more comfortable with. And I'm just going to show this one time. You can use this for all of them, but I'm just going to show it for this example. So we started with x minus 18 over x equals 3. If you want to get a common denominator, meaning, okay, I see an x in the denominator there. So if I multiply the first term by x over x, and so I get x squared over x minus 18 over x equals 3. X squared minus 18 over x, I don't change the denominator, equals 3 over 1. And then cross multiply, so you get 3x equals x squared minus 18. You end up getting the same thing, because right now I'm at that step. Some students understand method 2 a little bit more. And then you just continue on solving like we did here. Some people like method 2. Method 1, the first way I did it, is a little bit smarter and not as hard. Next example. Solve the equation, check your answer. So the common denominator is x plus 4. So if I multiply both sides and every single term by x plus 4, so I'm multiplying each one of these terms. I have 2 terms in there. Notice on the left, the x plus 4's cancel. So I'm just left with 3x plus 2. On the right, x plus 4 times 3, that's a separate term. So I have 3 times x plus 4 plus. Now, take and multiply this same thing times that. The x plus 4's cancel. So I'm just left with x minus 6. Now, take and simplify. Distribute out the 3. When I combine like terms, I get 3x plus 2 equals 4x plus 6. If I subtract the 3x over, if I subtract the 6 over, x equals negative 4. I will tell you right now, 90% of you will stop here at this point and say, I am done. Make sure you check your answer. If I plug in negative 4 into the bottom, of the left side, I get 0 on the bottom. That can't happen. So this is actually no solution. Okay, our next example. Solve the equation. If you have one fraction equals another one, just cross multiply. So take and cross multiply 2x plus 8 times x plus 1 times by the other diagonal. Now FOIL everything out. Since I have a quadratic, I have to get one side to be 0. Subtract the x squared from this side over. I subtract the 2x over. I add the 8 over. So I have x plus 4 squared equals 0. So x plus 4 equals 0. If I square root both sides, x equals -4. Does -4 make either one of the denominators 0? It does not. So now, there are your lesson questions for the day. There are your lesson questions for the day. Please make sure those are submitted on time.